Alright, so first of all, I apologize for this coming out a little late this week, but just so you know, it's been kind of a weird week for me health-wise. I've been coughing a lot, and I was not feeling good about getting on camera. I'm still coughing a bit, so excuse me if I might cough a few times in this episode. So, here we go, the second episode of the brand new Muppet series, Hostile Makeover. And please be aware that there are spoilers ahead, so you better have watched it already. And also, I apologize last week. I know last time that was kind of the first go-around, it was really long, but we're gonna try to keep this one under 10 minutes. Here we go, the second episode. So, this one was awesome. I'm sure you've already watched it, but basically it just starts off like a normal day, and all of a sudden Miss Piggy comes in and has like the most frantically obnoxious freak out that ever. And Kermit goes into talking about how like there's a color system for like her moods, and red is like the worst possible. I think I know why they call it red, because she's clearly PMSing, guys. I'm just saying, I've known a couple girls in my life who have had it really bad when they're PMSing, and just wouldn't surprise me. So basically it turns out that she needs a date for the People's Choice Awards, which is why she was freaking out in the first place. So Kermit goes on a mission to like find the dates for her, and what was really funny was, of course, how he mentioned that they had a free pass list back when they were a couple, which I mentioned before, by the way, that I had issues with, and they better not have taken that seriously, because it never seemed like Miss Piggy would be okay with something like that. And it turns out I was right, because Kermit mentions that that was just a for fun thing. They never actually like cheated on each other or anything like that, except for he kind of casually mentioned if he knew Leah Thompson, that would maybe be different. I don't know. But I was right, so there you go. And so Kermit knows who Miss Piggy likes, and they go down a list of like different people that they could possibly get, and they decide on Josh Groban, and they get Josh Groban and Miss Piggy to sing a number together on her talk show, and they fall in love like really quickly, but Kermit, I guess, kind of knows what she likes and what gets her in the mood. Kind of cute, actually. But that's what happens, and things seem great, but then it turns out that he wants to put ideas in her head about ways to improve the show, and that doesn't work out so well. For example, she brings in an author, Reza Aslan, who I've never heard of, but I guess he's a history author. That guy, I know he's not an actor, but he like seriously had some really funny reactions and some really funny expressions, like some of the funniest on the show so far. Which isn't saying much, I guess, because it's only the second episode, but I was cracking up at his reactions to Miss Piggy's ignorance. He's really funny. He should be an actor. Then anyway, things obviously don't go well, so Kermit decides that they need to get rid of Josh Groban, besides the protests from some of the other Muppets. But that's basically the setup, the conflict, and then what they have to resolve. Great so far. I mean, got some pretty dirty humor with Josh Groban and Miss Piggy. They are clearly having sex. Just saying. Which is again kind of weird, but okay, just go along with it. So this was a great episode. Oh, so first of all, I love the puppetry techniques. There's so many great techniques in this show. Like when Kermit was like, he did this like thing where it looked like he was like, what's going on over here? Or it looked like they actually made it look like he was talking with the side of his mouth, and that was really amazing. And then there was a part where like he like lifted himself up by lifting in the back. Just all these things that I feel like I've never seen before. When he like leaped onto Josh Groban, which I think they used some of it with a green screen effect because you like couldn't tell where like the puppeteer would have like gotten in there. But that's what's so amazing about all this technique, is that they just have all these great ways of hiding stuff, and they use all these like blue screen and green screen effects. I also loved, I was so like blown away when Miss Piggy like was hanging on the doorway and she's like, good morning everyone, like just the way that she just so naturally was like, I'm in such a good mood and I can sway my arm this way. That was pretty cool. And oh, and also Miss Piggy when she was crawling on the piano, that was pretty cool. Speaking of that scene, by the way, Miss Piggy apparently has a good singing voice. I mean, they kind of tend to depict her as like not being able to sing on key very well, except for that one high note. Obviously, she failed at that one high note, but other than that, she's not that bad of a singer. Like, and that's a man doing her voice. Eric Jacobson has amazing range. Like, oh my gosh. Which, if you don't know, he also does, of course, Fozzie and Sam the Eagle, who has like a really low register voice. Like, geez, dude, like, that's like the highest. That's like the widest range of a man's voice I've ever seen. Like, dude, you need to use that talent for like good or something. I don't know. Go use it for something else, because, oh my gosh, just like, dude, what is up with that voice? Anyway, oh, so, okay, so also Fozzie has a subplot where he gets invited to Jay Leno's house. Another celebrity cameo. Sorry, excuse me. And it was interesting how they like focused on him specifically again. I would have thought they would have gone to another character, but it was still a good setup. Like, he gets invited to Jay Leno's house, and he gets so excited that he wants a souvenir. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of quotes. And he steals a candy dish from him, and it was kind of predictable. It's like, okay, he's gonna learn the lesson about how it was wrong to steal, and of course by him trying to make things right, he makes things worse. But the twist was that it turns out that Jay Leno originally got that candy dish from George Carlin, and when that happened, when we found out, that was like a, oh snap kind of moment, like, oh hell no, no, no. It's such a good twist. And what I also really love was that in any normal Muppet media beforehand, normally, if this kind of story happened, Jay Leno would have probably forgiven Fozzie and it would have all been good. But we learn a great lesson here, even for adults, that, like, you know what? Big mistakes have huge consequences. And, unfortunately, you can't come back from that. And Jay Leno was like, you got a problem. Get out. It's like, dude, you screwed yourself over, Fozzie. Like, I'm sorry. You did that to yourself. And then, like, again, you wish for happy endings, but at the same time, for whatever reason, that worked, especially because they kind of ended it on a funny note. That was also really good. I liked it. I felt bad. I felt really bad for him. But again, it was like, dude, that's adult life. There are consequences to your actions. And Bobo, of course, has a subplot. Bobo's one of my favorite characters, so made me so happy. Find out he has a daughter. It's like, dude, I want to meet this girl. And of course we don't. Sorry. But I just love that, like, you so badly want Bobo to win in this episode because he's trying to sell cookies for his Girl Scouts troop, and he's having a rivalry with the newsman, who it turns out is divorced, which for some reason did not surprise me. But anyway, you just feel bad because Bobo's not selling any cookies, and he just wants to be such a good dad, and oh, it just doesn't work out. But then it does work out, because we recycle a joke from the presentation where it turns out, you know what, let's sell the cookies to the band because they're always happy, hungry, marijuana. But what's so cool is that joke worked because of this subplot. Like, it totally tied in. It was such a great tie-in right there. I was so happy to see Bobo. I hope we actually get to meet some of his family someday. Maybe. I don't know. Was he divorced or wasn't he? I don't know. And also Gonzo, not centrally a character this time around, but he still had a really great running gag with talking about his mother who was like lost in the jungle or something. That was so great. Just like, dude, really? It's not spam. You need to look into finding your mom. That was so funny. Okay, we're gonna definitely go over 10 minutes, but that's okay. We're getting close to, I think, everything I want to talk about. So anyway, in the last episode, a lot of people were complaining about how Kermit was kind of a jerk, because he said some like negative things about people and was really sneaky, which I admit I kind of agree with, and a lot of other people do. But you know, he kind of like learns his lesson in the end that he shouldn't have been such an asshole. Excuse my French. It's kind of all real right now. And that he should just be honest with Miss Piggy and just try to be just more honest about his actions, which was good. But what I like is that in this episode, Kermit had some moments where he could have been a jerk, but then it turned out he couldn't be a jerk because he's too nice. Like, for example, when, I'm so sorry. Anyway, when he tried to insult Josh Groban, and when he tried to, like, say, like, he's evil, but he's actually a piano god. Oh gosh. And I just liked that. I liked that there was a bit more turnarounds. It's like, no, Kermit can't be a jerk. He's too nice of a person. But I love that Kermit also, like, had such an in with Miss Piggy because, like, he knew how to turn things around in the end because he knows Miss Piggy so well. And you also, like, are not 100% sure if Kermit is, like, jealous of Miss Piggy and Groban because, like, it didn't seem like he really was that much. Like, he seemed pretty proud of himself that he got them together. But then there's those little hints where it seems like he could be jealous of them, but, like, not even he knows it. So that was really cute. And, yeah, what I love, again, was that he knew exactly how to get rid of Josh Groban by figuring out that if he gives Josh Groban credit, then Miss Piggy's just not gonna have that. Especially when it turns out that Josh Groban agrees that he likes getting the credit, and Miss Piggy's like, oh hell no, this is my show, bitch. No. That was great. And Kermit going, bye-bye. Like, he totally knows what he did. He knows what he made it work. That was so funny. So many great jokes in this episode. I can't obviously talk about all of them, but what I do like about this episode is that it was strictly a funny episode, pretty much. Like, the last episode, which was the first episode, of course, I feel like there was a lot of funny, but then there was also a lot of drama that tied into everything, but that was also for setup, for the most part. And it all just kind of flowed and worked together. It was kind of like a what to expect when you see the series. But this episode was like what I feel like is going to be like overall what the series is about, which is like mostly strictly funny. And each episode is going to be a continuation of each other, so there's kind of an arc, but then each episode still has like its own story and its own subplot and its own conflict and resolution. And I love that. I think that this episode, I think this series is like the perfect recipe for like a Muppet show, in my opinion, because it includes so much of like what we know of with the Muppets, you know, all the great humor, all the inside jokes, all the winks to the adult crowd out there, having celebrity cameos. And what I like also is that they've got like 4 or 5 of them in each episode, instead of just like having one like they did on the Muppet Show. Even if there's just like little cameos here and there, it's so Muppety to do that. And it's just a good recipe. That's all I know what to say. It's just so, they're doing this right, in my opinion. I mean, obviously it's not perfect. There's definitely jokes that kind of like, every once in a while, but they're winning most of the time. And they even, oh, and also Pepe like touched on like gender fluidity or something like that. Like, that was so cool that they were able to comfortably do that. I feel like a proud mama just like watching this show grow. It's like, I know some people have had some issues with it, but I'm like, even in moments where I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe they just went there, but it's like, but that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to give that kind of like little shock value to it. And it's so great. And another thing that's great is that it's the show of the Muppets. Like, we've kind of faced in a bunch of films where like we're focusing heavily on like the lead, you know, human actor, or having a lot of focus on the human actors, but this is clearly like a show about the Muppets, and that's kind of obvious because we're like really focusing on their personal lives, but that's why it all works, because again, we're just focusing just exclusively on these characters, and when you have a show called The Muppets, that's what it better be about, and it's clearly what it is about, and I love it. It's been amazing so far. It's been funny, it's had so many great little meta moments, and all these great little, just, you know, what am I trying to say, like homages to like everything that they've done in the past and everything. It's just like, why didn't they do this sooner? It's so, I love it. Great episode. Don't have too many complaints. But again, I like to watch things as like a whole experience, so my experience with this one was quite good. I'm quite pleased, and I can't wait for the next one. One more thing I have to mention, I loved that Kermit, like, when he's frustrated, he gets in his golf cart and he just floors around the office in that slow little thing. And I love how he's like, I know that the mileage is 5 miles an hour, but I'll go 6 or 7, I don't care. Ugh. It's like, Kermit, you're such an old man. Oh, you are such an old man, Kermit. I love you. Anyway, I had a great time with this episode. I hope you guys I hope you guys did too. Excuse my voice again, kind of sick. If you guys had any comments or concerns or anything like that, leave me a comment. And that's it for this vlog. I will be back with the next one next week, and you guys take care and talk to you soon. Bye, Adorkable Buddies. Mwah. Love ya.